Today's creative world is film. Today's guest is an amazing actor and martial artist who's active around the world. As an actor, he has starred in various television, movies, and video games since the 1990s on well-known franchises such as Godzilla, League of Legends, Marvel Cinematic Universe, Star Wars, and Call of Duty. Also, as a world-class martial artist, he has been inducted into the Martial Arts Masters Hall of Fame 3 times. Please welcome TJ Storm. Well, hello, TJ.
How's it going, man?
Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. This is awesome.
So, first question, could you tell us about yourself and how you got into the industry in the first place?
Absolutely. I was a skinny geek. I was a nerd in high school, and I wanted to be cool, so I learned how to dance. And my mom put me into martial arts, karate, when I was a little kid, and that's how it kind of started. Okay. My mom would not let me quit karate. That was Shitoryu karate originally, and then later Arashiru, and then later Northern Shaolin Kung Fu. And I was learning how to dance and break dance and all of that stuff. And I just always did martial arts. I never quit just because it was part of my daily life.
Right.
And my mom made me stay in it. As for the dancing, the more that I did it, the more popular I kind of got in school. And so I thought, this is it. This is how I'm going to be cool.
It's a teenager, you know?
Yeah, this part of being a teenager. So I did it all the time, and then I started to really love it. You can feel yourself getting better with all of that practice.
Right.
And we got better and better, and I started entering dance contests, and I started winning dance contests. And then eventually I came to LA as a dancer, and I danced here. I did it for music videos, and I did it for shows. And you don't get paid a lot of money to be a dancer, and it's a hard life. You gotta absolutely love it, which people do.
Right.
But I wanted more. I wanted to do other things. So through a weird bunch of events, I got a record deal. I did that. I did music for a while.
Wow.
We got on the radio, and that was wonderful. And then I said, let me try acting. How hard could it be?
Right.
So hard. So hard. But because of the martial arts and because of the dance, I got to do kickboxing movies, and I started doing lots of martial art movies, and I got really fortunate doing that. And then through a whole bunch of events, I got into something called motion capture, and I started working on video games as well.
Right, I've never done it, but I imagine it's really tough, right?
And
a little technical.
It is, but it's also really fun. We've all played The Ground is Lava. We've jumped over things and said, don't jump on that because you'll die, or you're a monster, or you're a machine, and shoot down the machine. We all play the games and live in that imagination, that creative space, and that's what it is. You just do it professionally, and it's a blast. It's really, really cool.
And now you're very successful, and you have worked on a bunch of different projects, but which production do you credit as your breakthrough? And how did you actually seize the opportunity?
You know, it's funny about what you think as a breakthrough. They talk about overnight success, but the secret of overnight success is it takes 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. There is not a singular breakthrough. I remember I got on a television show called Conan, and it was from Arnold Schwarzenegger's Conan, and it became a television show. A different actor, but still, it was the same character. It was Conan. And I was like, this is it. This is my breakthrough. This is the big thing. And we did seasons of that, and I got home, and I was like, I would like to do the next thing now. Nothing immediately. So then the next movie came. This is it. This is the breakthrough. Mortal Kombat or whatever it was. I was like, there's not a single breakthrough. There's not a single step that makes you the thing. And even when you get to that level, one misstep and your breakthrough is gone. And we see that a lot now. So it's a constant effort to stay on top of it and to constantly better yourself, and constantly stay on the path that will allow you to keep on working. You can never relax, and it's like this in any business, I think. Once you reach a certain point, you have to hustle hard, and you have to get to a place where you never slow down. You're always looking for the next opportunity, and you're always looking to better your own skills to be prepared for the next opportunity, whatever that is. And that's kind of what it's about, between being Colossus in Deadpool, or being fortunate enough to be Godzilla in Godzilla or Godzilla King of the Monsters, or I've been Iron Man. Right. I've been in lots of Marvel movies as, you know, Rocket Raccoon. I've gotten to do lots of different things, but they're not a single thing. Right. And you're just part of a team, and you're trying to make the project better. Right. And I think that's the important part. Show up and be as best as do the best that you can on every project that you can.
Awesome. So, speaking of Godzilla, you were really also famous for the role of Godzilla in the 2014 movie, right? So how did you actually get the role?
It was a happenstance of just the right time at the right place. But I had already worked on a show called Avatar, and I did a lot of the performance capture on Avatar. I did different characters, but the guy who brought me onto Avatar, he called me up and he's like, "Hey, do you know people who can do creature movement?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, I'll give you a list." I was already working on something, and I wasn't thinking, the way he asked, I was like, he just wants some people. So I gave him some names, and I didn't think anything of it. Right. So he calls 2 weeks later, and he's like, "Dude, could you come in and help us with the creature movement?" And I'm like, "Yeah, no problem." It was a weekend, and I was like, "Yeah, sure, not a problem." So it was the morning, I went down to a studio here in the Valley, and I showed up, and it was me and 2 other guys on a soundstage, right? And he's like, "Okay, you're Muto number 1, you're Muto number 2, and you're Godzilla." And I was like,
what?
What? And they never tell you what it is you're working on until you get there a lot of the time, because everything's so top secret in our business. But Godzilla, that is on a whole nother level. That is mind-blowing. I'm like, we're not helping other people. You want us. You want me to be Godzilla right now.
And personally, you grew up watching him.
It was the first movie I'd ever seen. When I was a little kid, my dad took me to see Godzilla versus the Smog Monster, and it blew my mind. So to get the chance to step into the shoes of Haruo Nakajima and all of the suit actors that has come after him, it's a dream. It's an absolute dream. So yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So you practice in a studio doing a lot of different forms of martial arts, and then what part do martial arts play in your life? And then do you adapt or use any skills or particular movements when you do stunts or dance movements?
Absolutely. First off, when you train martial arts is, when it's done well, it's a lifestyle. So you're not doing martial arts, you're living martial arts. If you're good at a thing, you live the thing and you become the thing. So I became part martial arts. It's in my blood, the way I react to things. It's ingrained from the martial arts that I trained. And that's not just a fighting thing, that's a way of breathing and calming yourself down before a scene when people are ready to say, "And action." Right before that, I will meditate, a little meditation, but it's the same kind of meditation we would do right before class. Breathe in, breathe out, and there's only the thing in front of you, and there's nothing else, and you're relaxed, and that's it. That meditation has helped me more than I can say. The act of showing up on time for class, doing all the stuff you need to do for class, that discipline, that has made me what I am today. The constant training and the way to focus on the thing and do whatever it is that we're doing, it's given me a way to listen and to put out things that would normally distract me and focus on. If it's an acting scene, I have to focus on the acting. If it's an action scene, I switch between the dancing and the martial arts, but I can still do all of the things that I need to do and hold the positions and not worry that I'm going to get hurt or look silly, because I've really done the things in the past.
That's awesome. So is there anything current or future that you can share with us? I mean, your current future projects that you can share with us a bit? No?
Oh no, there's so many things. I worked on an amazing project. We shot it in Hungary. That is coming, but I don't know if they have announced it yet, so I can't talk about it. It's a huge project with a lot of action and some cool people that I think you know. But that is coming out. I worked on a Disney project called Under Wraps. That is coming out on Halloween, I believe.
Halloween, awesome.
And Disney makes some great stuff, so I believe that'll be on their streaming service. And it's Under Wraps 2. It's going to be a blast. We got to do some really, really fun stuff, and I'm one of the primary characters in it, so it's amazing. We're working on huge games right now. I don't know if I can even talk about any of them because I don't think they're out.
Right.
Yeah, I don't think they're out yet. But we have a ton of video games coming out as well, and yeah.
That's awesome.
It's really cool. And that's what our school is constantly doing, is getting the next generation of students ready for the same kind of life that I'm living now.
Awesome. So you've been so active internationally, both as an actor and then also a martial artist, right? So what do you think is necessary to succeed internationally? Also, if there's any advice, message you can share with, particularly with the younger people watching?
No one helped me that much when I came to Hollywood. I came to Hollywood, and you always come to Hollywood with a dream, right? Los Angeles. You come here with a dream, you're like, I'm gonna show up, and people are gonna discover me, and it's gonna be awesome. Right. And I showed up, and I was like, I'm ready. And no one discovers you. So I was like, okay, I'll do what I know. I will train. So I trained, and all I could do was try to be prepared for when I was going to be discovered. What they don't tell you is they will only discover the ones that appear at the top. So if you're going to be ones that appear at the top, train, prepare, show up at all the places, network, and it's important. And networking is a term for being at the right places at the right time, but you still have to be at the places, because if people don't know you, they can't hire you. Nobody tells you this stuff. So if anything, train, whether that's acting, whether it's singing, if that's your thing, show up and train, and then be at the right places and show that you are the best. Show that you are ready to do this thing and do this life. And do it, do not stop. Have rigorous persistence. Show up every single time and do not slow down. And don't get bummed out because people say no, because that's their job. There's a lot of people to say no and only a couple of people to say yes. You only need that couple of people. So the more people you show up with, the more chance you have to meet that one person to be like, yes, you're the right person for this project. So just show up.
Awesome, awesome. Keep trying, right?
Yeah, never stop.
Awesome. Last question is, the title of the show is Creative World. So what does the word creative mean to you? What is your interpretation for the word creative?
The word is literally limitless.
Limitless, meaning?
Without limit, infinite. That is what it is when you don't have a lot of other options. If you're a person in a place that doesn't have a lot of options, what do? You go into your head and you're like, how can I make this better for myself? And you go to that magic place. You go to that place of imagination. And in that place of imagination, you can imagine anything. You can be anything. And once you can see that, once you can visualize that, that is the thing. Now you can make your way to that place. But you have to know that that place exists. And that place exists in here, that place exists in here. But you gotta know it. So for me, creativity is limitless imagination, the ability to change your circumstances, first through here and here, and then through here. Then you can roll up your sleeves, dig in, and make a better life for yourself. And I think that is super important. And that's what we do. When we're doing performance capture, when we're acting on film, we're showing the limitless possibilities of stories that have happened to thousands of people. Lots of people who have had nothing or not been where they wanted to start, but they finally get to where they want to be. That's what these stories are about, and that's what we do. We just make a better life for ourselves, and I think everybody can do that.
Awesome, awesome. Today's guest was TJ Storm, an amazing actor who's also an amazing world-class martial artist. Thank you, TJ. It was such a pleasure to have you on the show.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This episode will be available on YouTube this coming Saturday. For details, please check out our Facebook page. Next, more exciting materials to show you all.
We are now accepting submissions of contents from our viewers around the world. Please check out the Facebook page or Instagram at CWTV Hollywood to find out how you can submit your content. We will select and introduce our favorites every week.
Next,
let's jam with
Yoyoka!